Well, as you know, the actual investigation has been contracted out to PBB, the liquidator of Astara, and PBB, of course, is senior partner is Delizio, who used to be the head of ASIC. Anyway, through John has done a Herculean effort of putting in sorry John, I always forget how many FOIs you've put in, but he's put in a lot, over 100 FOIs. They still won't give us the information on the investigation, but the funding was actually given to a liquidator. As you know, anyone who's had an experience with liquidators, they absolutely cost a fortune and they make a lot of money. They told us that the final report of PPP will be available before Christmas. They did say also that ASIC investigators had gone overseas and had interviewed people, but they basically said to us that the investigation will be completed around about Christmas this year. As far as funding goes, we've been previously told that funds were made available to PBB to do the investigation. It's totally unsatisfactory that victims are still, to this stage, not aware of where the investigation is, really who's doing it, what the status of it is. It's all been done almost like the fraud itself, which was done behind closed doors and everything. The investigation is taking place the same way. But bearing in mind also that the fraud complaint to the New South Wales Police, which we're preparing, we hope to have that ready very soon. Nicole's here. We're trying to do that as quickly as possible with John. But we did say to ASIC, look, this is a major fraud. It's a police matter. It has to be investigated by the police. And he had a bit of a smile about that, Metcraft. Yeah. But I'd imagine we'll have to speak to the police minister in New South Wales before we dump it on the detectives in the Wollongong police station to get some commitment from the minister that this would be a high priority amongst the many things that the police have to do. But I think our view is that, I think I'm speaking for the executive, I hope, that our view is the best investigation chance at the moment is with the police, not ASIC. ASIC has failed. Look, if there was a systemic failure of ASIC with the fraud, there's been an equal failure with the investigation.
We did actually add the cynical response, because you can imagine that liquidator for 4 years, or 3.5 years, has been clocking up. Every person working on that's probably clocking up to around $300 or $400 an hour, and if they've got a team of 4 or 5 people, just do the sums over 3.5 years, and we did cynically add that you might have been better off just giving $35 million to our group and we'd be done.
Yeah. Can I say this, that the most disgraceful thing about this whole fraud, apart from the fraud, is the money that's been made out of it. I just wanted, you probably heard this before, but when the Section 23 claim was made for the people who were to be compensated under the Superannuation Industry Act, a law firm was engaged by the liquidator to do that. The name of that law firm is Clayton Woods. We understand that Clayton Woods put in a bill to shorten of $18 million for the work they did on that application. Right? We now know, I'm not saying that there is a connection between this, but just to show you how close things are in Australian politics. We now know that there was a person got a job in Clayton Woods before he finished his law degree, Nicholas Rudd, who has now finished his employment with Clayton Woods and is now working as a senior advisor in Kevin Rudd's campaign. You know, the nepotism in the Australian Labor Party is disgraceful. And here we have Rudd saying, oh, by the way, the Labor Party's all changed. Well, I don't think it's a coincidence that Clayton Woods got that contract. I'd like to know what it was, the $18 million that they're asking for to do up a claim for fraud where everyone accepted it was fraud. Where, by the way, apparently now Clayton Woods couldn't have known the detail of the crime because PBB doesn't know. You know, the corruption in the Australian Labor Party even came into your claim. So won't say about a local lawyer who took, I believe, almost $1 million and didn't do anything. That's another thing. But really, it's disgraceful. The parasites who... It wasn't enough that there'd been a transnational crime that took $180 million or $32 million out of Wollongong. But the parasites lined up everywhere to get their share. Right? And that the government would pay these people like PBB, who, by the way, told me, when I rang up early to do with someone's particulars, oh, we'll give you the document for $1,000. You pay us $1,000. I said, the victim is supposed to pay you $1,000 to get their own form? He said, yeah. And then the answer was, we're not the Salvation Army. You know? This is a system which the Labor Party fostered and flourished under Bill Short. So if that doesn't give us enough incentive to get out there tomorrow and hit as many doors as we can, I don't know what will. But really, the full story will come out. And the parasites who preyed on people and also extracted money out of the government. And this is the same government which is considering the $18 million bill from Clayton Woods that says to you, oh, $32 million. Sharon Bird said, oh, $32 million. There are taxpayers who don't want to pay that money to the victims. Wait till the taxpayers find out about Clayton Woods. Yeah.